Alright, hello, my name is William Owen, and my GitHub is linked here up in the right corner. This is my to-do list. The live deployment of this website can be found at this address. And my priorities for this assignment were to first complete the basic requirements of a to-do list. And beyond that, I took some liberties to focus on how I want to make this to-do list look and feel and work. So it's not 100% of my goals for that, but I did meet many of my goals, and styles are meant to be updated. But I did achieve some cool CSS tricks, which I will share. There are a couple things you might notice about this UI already, but there are basically three sections. This top section right here, it is a throwaway section. It just has what the name of the project is and a little info for someone viewing the project, what you can do on it. The next two sections, these are the actual to-do list, and each section has its own header. My idea is that this to-do section could be a template for a forum. So that is why the styles look a little bit like a forum. And I split my forum up into these two sections, completed and not completed. And I used ChatGPT to come up with some dummy data that you can see right here. So I set all the existing data in this app to be complete. And I did that so that you could see if you have no to-dos in your to-do section, it'll mention that, the UI will mention that there's no to-dos here. So the first thing to do is go through all the CRUD functionality, and you can start with adding a to-do. What this does is it pops up a prompt that comes right underneath this header, which is a sticky header, as you can see. And it allows you to put in info. All right, so I just set this to-do to have a title and a description, and I also set it to a priority of high. That is an extra thing that I added to my to-do list items, the quality of having a priority. So I can save this, and that item will pop up right under the not complete. It will display that info that was just shared, and also that priority. The next thing to see with the CRUD functionality of a to-do list is the ability to mark an item as complete or not complete. And so right now you can see that that is done by placement in the DOM in the UI. So how you do that is you just check one of these boxes, and if the box is within the not complete section, this button here becomes enabled, and I can move this to complete. It also automatically scrolls to where that item is. The reverse can also be done. You can get an item and mark it as not complete. So this pay bills, I had it marked as completed. Gotta still do that. Put it back into not complete. Items can just simply be deleted. Here is an example of doing that. I'm going to delete this clean the house to do. I clicked this hamburger, which you can see I styled after a hamburger, or I got the icon from someplace I styled it like a hamburger. And that to-do list is, or that to-do item is gone. And you can see I added in a CSS animation right there. as the side panel opens up. So that actually covers all of the CRUD functionality related to to-dos. We didn't see editing a to-do only because these to-do items are built with inputs, and I never actually destroy these inputs. So editing is kind of built in as I make a change, walk the dog, and I switch this. You see these edits, they stay there. The edit part of the CRUD functionality was kind of built into the design. But yeah. One of the things I wanted to do for this assignment was attempt a CSS challenge for myself. And what that challenge was is this sticky header where it appears that this add a to-do and this marked completed button are on the same level. They're wrapped in the same div. But really what's happening here is there are 3 divs, for one for the completed header, one for the not complete, and another for the to-do. And what this was able to let me do is have a sticky header where once I have a few items in here that makes it be a little bit more obvious. So when I have a section that I'm looking at the not complete to-dos, the header is sticky and shows over them. And when we get to the completed section, what you'll see is that the header gets handed off and the button right here is switching. So in a way, it's almost like a dynamic header depending on where you're scrolled, which is kind of cool. The other thing that I wanted to do was work on how I wanted to work with this forum item, as I was kind of thinking in my head when I was thinking of to-do list items in this assignment. So I have this expand item button. Right now, I have a few things going on. This is like the voting thing from another assignment I had earlier in this course. And so I imported it into this project just as a test, really, to see if I could. Another thing that's kind of cool is I have this mark complete, which shows up. And you'll see as I change the height of this, some of these things disappear and the mark complete shows up. And same on the right side, some things change with the height of this element. And how I was able to achieve this CSS styling was through a new CSS feature called @container, which is a special type of media query where the media query isn't on the screen or the width of the browser or the height of the browser. The media query is based on the height of the element, which is a container. So when this card gets to a certain height, certain things can become visible, which is pretty cool. And then, so some of the things that haven't been implemented, I just put placeholders for them. One of those things are this voter thing on the left, but also on the right. I was thinking about what else would I want this forum to be able to do. And I wanted to be able to interlink these tasks, these to-do items, quote unquote, to related and child tasks. And one thing I did here is I integrated select to, which is a library, and the idea being that you can type into this, and just type to, and sort through things that might be in these drop-down lists. and that you have a button to view comments. It's a form, and I have all this other space here that I could add for other stuff, and I could add stuff underneath this text area. So a lot of possibilities, but the only final thing that I added is every time you reload the page, there are these quotes in the header, and they just rotate. And I just did that for fun. But that is my project, and it was pretty fun to make. And I can imagine in a future project just taking this section and everything and putting it into the middle of a website as a legitimate form. So starting from the top, we've got the GitHub actions for the CI/CD pipeline. We have the dist folder, which is the bundled project that is used for deployment, but also used here for development locally. We also have the source directory with all the source code. It has all the source code except for one file, which is the index file. Here is the index HTML file. As you can see, it's pretty simple because the main body of the HTML is right here, which is selected. The stuff above is the header that was trash header, could get thrown away. But got the main to-do list, and then the not completed section and the completed section. There are a few other imports. I'm using select2, which I showed you, and also using Font Awesome. You saw that hamburger icon. So the other HTML that you see on the page when you're just looking at it comes from these two files right here, the add to do HTML, which is the form that pops down when you click the add to do button, and then the actual to do item itself, which can be expressed in the completed to dos and in the not completed to dos. So as you can see, as you look down here, you might see some things look unfamiliar, like I am doing this import in here, and I am using this thing that looks like a template string, and that's actually what this is. Even though it is an HTML file, I am actually using it like a template string. And this was a breakthrough, actually, to find out how to do this. But I knew it was possible. So Webpack was the solution I found for bundling everything. And that is why we can use this import here on the top. And I configured Webpack to handle HTML files a specific way. And while it's not the usual default setup I've seen, what this setup does is it imports HTML files by strings, as strings, because I use a Webpack raw loader, and versus the HTML loader. So as you can see right here, all of these parameters here, this is data that gets passed to this template and filled. So on the data, you can actually see some of this info. There is a few more things that could be added to it. Like I could make the vote dynamic. I could add that to the data, and we would see that set different on each to-do item. There's really nothing too special about the form that drops down, other than it uses the form attribute. And all of the actual logic is in these two classes right here. So now that you've seen what the index HTML looks like in the data, you can see the client code, which is the index TS file. And really all you need to see that's relevant to the to-do list is these lines right here, where we get the data and we create an instance of a to-do list, and we use that to-do list to add tasks. And so this item is one of those to-do item data that I just showed you. So those two class files are inside a class folder right here. And here's that constructor for the to-do list. As you can see, it takes that list selector and selects it as an HTML element. And we have an array of tasks for the to-do item data. The to-do list keeps track of those tasks, but also keeps track of the instances of to-do items, which the class blueprint is in the file next door. So that add task that which we saw the clients using was pushing that data to the task array. It was sorting them based off of another function in this class, and it was creating the to-do items with a method that is a static method on the to-do item class. We'll see. It's auto-incrementing an index, and it's adding that to an object which is keyed by ID of the to-do items. So one thing I did to both of my class files to make it a little bit more digestible was keep the constructor really short. The only way I could do that was to use methods inside the constructor because, for example, the setListener method is pretty big, but it's a few different things that you witness the list was able to do, like reorder items and whatnot. So you can see we have like remove task, the checkboxes, creating a to-do, showing the form, closing the form, submitting the form, and etc. The to-do item has a lot of responsibility, as you can tell from when we added a item. We didn't actually add it to the DOM. All we did was we created the task. So this is what we do when we call add task, which is accepting data. We create a to-do item through a generator method on this class. And so the generator method is a static method, and it's located on the bottom here. This logic could have also easily gone inside of the constructor, so that might have been a better approach. But when a to-do item is created, it is added to the DOM, and we update whatever priority it is option. And we also set listeners on the to item, like being able to expand the list or delete the item. And as you can see, here are some of those listeners that get set for the drop down, for the delete, the expand, details button, the listener on the hamburger. This is a listener on the actions we need to happen after the priority is updated on a to-do. Here's one of the listener methods for toggling an item to make it expand or not. And I used animation expressed via JavaScript. I have a method that works with the select to API. And here's that API being used. You'll see that in the constructor, I process my input through methods, and that is a way to sanitize my input, make sure that it comes in looking how I expect it to look. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening to my presentation, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.